And we're live. Welcome to you, the viewer. Welcome to our fantastic panel. We're in the midst of making our cocktails right now. It's the After Dram, and that means it's time to unwind. So put your feet up, unwind. Put your feet up, grab a dram or two, cocktail or two, and the rest of our drams, and relax. Above all, relax. As a quick recap of our early evening, we have Adam, Rich, and I have been given a top-notch tour by our leader on this side. I'm trying to get it over here of the Dubh Glas Distillery. Douglas Distillery. I keep saying Dubh Glas. I'm very sorry. Douglas Distillery in Oliver, BC, and we've tasted Steve Lee's new make, as well as 3 samples of Rich's. So we rock Whiskey Club's 3 special order barrels that they're doing, and we love them. They were fantastic. It was fun. It was educational. It was terribly tasty. Not terrible, but terrible. It was awesome. Let's have another round of introductions, please, gentlemen. We'll start with Adam, who doesn't have any other taglines or anything else. And we'll go to Rich, and then Steve Lee, and then me, please.
And I'm Adam, and I am just here to enjoy some delicious cocktails and enjoy this delicious whiskey.
Good comment. I thought you were going to say, I endorse this message. Thank you.
I'm Richard. I am obsessed with purchasing Douglas casks of whiskey and drinking them.
This is your 12-step program, and as long as we progress out of this stage, we'll all get. Steve Lee, you're up.
Hi, I'm Steve Lee. I supply Rich and the We Rock Whiskey Club with personalized casks, and we also make some other spirits along the way.
And we're going to have a few of those tonight, just a few. And I've got it right here. And you know what? I think Adam and I are at this stage. Richard's going to actually make the cocktail in front of us, right? So he's the guinea pig, and Steve Lee's going to help us along. And I'm just going to keep shaking till my hands freeze, is what Steve Lee told me to do. So I'm going to do that. But to the side, as Steve Lee, you're going to explain to Richard what to do.
Yeah, so you kind of have 3 core ingredients there. You got some ice in your cocktail shaker, and you have 1 ounce of the virgin spirit, which we're gonna kind of build on that caramel vanilla notes that
Do I pour it in?
We have there. Yeah, you can pour it right in. So 1 ounce of virgin, 50% ABV, and then 1 ounce of either the cold brew. Yep. So 1 ounce of the cold brew goes in, and that's made with our local. There's no booze in the cold brew. Sometimes we do. We infuse the virgin because of the high ABV. It works well for infusions. But the cold brew is just an espresso bean from our local coffee roaster.
Right, and then
coffee here in Oliver.
And
then
syrup?
1 ounce of honey syrup, actually, which is made with Wolf Cub coffee as well. So that goes into the shaker.
Ooh.
Yeah.
No booze as well?
Honey syrup. So everything goes into, no booze in that. We just have the 50% ABV. So you're going to want to cap that up.
Nothing else goes in?
Nothing else goes in. We're going to save the lemon peel for the end. So now you want to shake this until your hands are very, very cold. And wow, that is excellent technique, Rick. So you can usually feel this little bit of flair bartending there on Boxing Island. So nice and cold. You want to get nice and frothy and creamy. That should be good.
Ooh, it's frothy.
So I like to double strain into the martini glass. It is frothy, so we'll just pour that into our martini glass.
This is the glass that we were given? We should use this?
Yes.
Yeah, certainly.
Is it going to fit?
Steve Lee supplied us with the glasses as well. Everything. He prepared everything for us, and which is really important because we're not very.
Wow.
Sorry, Adam might be very good, but Richard and I are not in the cocktail zone. So thank you very much.
That's like exactly a 3-ounce glass.
Yeah. Wow. Purely coincidental. And then your lemon peel there.
Take it.
A little bit of zest. Try not to. And you want to zest the top, so a nice roll over top of your martini glass there.
What does that look like? I've never rolled anything on my martini glass.
Yep.
Well, Salt Spring Island, I think they roll things a bit differently. But
so what do I do with this strip? Oh, just like roll it between my fingers.
Yeah. So get that zest on top of your martini there.
Okay.
And once you zest that lemon peel on top, then add 3 included espresso beans under the top of your martini.
Doesn't feel like it's zesting though.
It just needs a little bit of the oil that's on it, Richard. It's good.
Yeah. Not a whole ton, but
more.
Oh wow, you're grating it right there. That's that'll work.
Trying to, why not, right?
This is like a science experiment.
Yeah,
so
the zest.
You got 3
really
junior
nice.
high teachers here, and you're doing a science experiment with all of us. It's fantastic.
All right.
None of us teach science, by the way. Well, actually, no. Richard teaches science right now.
Yes, this is true. All right.
Oh, that looks great, buddy.
Oh, nice.
Okay.
There you go, Adam.
And then coffee beans?
3.
3 is the number. The number is 3.
It is.
3
Says
coffee
the math
beans.
teacher. I'm good.
Not 2, not 4, and 5 is right out.
Yeah, 3 specifically.
All right.
How many ways do I have to
this is a skill testing question here on the teachers to see how if math is your strong point.
That's my thing.
Here we go.
All right.
And cheers.
Cheers. Are you there,
Mine's
Adam?
half gone. I'm sorry.
I'm right here.
Yeah, that goes down really quickly.
Wow.
Isn't that lovely?
Yeah.
Steve Lee, thank you very much. Thank you for all the work for the stemware. I think it's crystal too. Did we all clink?
I did.
Does it clink?
I think so.
It might not clink with that much liquid in it.
Not with the liquid in it. Says
There's science behind that.
See, I believe you. It was perfect. And Steve Lee, one question I didn't get to before that I really wanted to do because we talked about it last year a little bit. The BC Craft Distilling Agreement 2013, you started before that, and I wanted to know, did it help you or not? Looking back now, are you glad you were one of the forerunners, the ones that kind of started things off? Because you helped other people afterwards, but are you happy that you started early, or do you kick yourself a little bit that you didn't make it a bit easier on yourself?
No. I think I'm fortunate that we started early. I learned a lot. We made a lot of mistakes that we could share those mistakes with somebody else as well. And the industry's grown and changed. So I actually thought I was late to the game because when we came into the BC distilling, there was 20 plus distilleries in BC. So I actually thought I was late to the game. I had no idea that the industry would blossom what it is. Yeah. It's amazing.
So,
probably, I mean, a couple of years ago, BC Distilled, which is kind of the premier event. I think a couple of years ago, pre-COVID, there was a little over 80 distilleries, distilling licenses in British Columbia, and that's well over 100 now, I'm sure.
Well, if we look at the book, so I refer to Davin's book a lot. So this section right there, that's all BC. And Davin and Blair were telling me they had a hard time not making a third of the book BC distilleries. And they had to really restrict what they were putting about certain distilleries in BC compared to other provinces, because they had to kind of boost other provinces and not minimize BC, but the influence of BC in Ontario is probably 7/8 of the book. those two provinces. And
right.
you being in the first 20 is pretty impressive, I think. Yeah. I really do. And at Shelter Point, they were all about, when we did our After Dram, they were very thankful of you and the work that you did to promote this agreement and your kind of political involvement. Are you still politically involved in distilling in, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, we support the industry in any way we can. Kind of on the political front, it's not for me. We have a distillers association in British Columbia, the BC Craft Distilling Distillers Guild, sorry, in BC. So I'm not actively involved with them.
You were the president at one point of that, I think, or just really involved?
No.
Nope.
Yeah, just involved. Yeah, just a member and an advocate for a change.
Excellent. Thank you, sir. Well, they were really impressed with your political influence. They thought that you were terribly involved, and they wanted you to stop making gin and kind of focus on your political career, I think is what they wanted me to say to you at one point. So,
yeah.
I said it, and we did talk about the conversations you had with them at one point as well, at 2 o'clock conversation at night, which is kind of funny.
Good memory, Richard, Dolph. Good memory.
Oh, it was funny. It was terribly funny. Richard, what do you think of a cocktail?
Well, as I said, the last 2 weeks, I've never been. I'm not a cocktail guy. But you know what? The last 2 weeks and a day, I'm starting to become a cocktail guy. This is excellent. I love it. I love coffee. I love the virgin spirit, and I love lemon. So I don't know what's not to like about this.
I love it all.
I love it all. I love you guys. You guys are so great.
Well, we have had 5 ounces, I think. Well, maybe. We haven't yet. All of them are still pretty full, our glasses. So, Adam, what are you thinking? Because you do cocktails. You like your cocktails.
Yeah, I mean, it's really nice. I like the fact that it's the local. It's a unique way of doing a martini with this, so it's different than some of the other cocktail martinis, and the citrus is a new flavor to me, which I really like, and cold brew coffee, that it has a rich flavor to it, and yeah, it's lovely. It's really nice.
Steve Lee, why did you pick this one? Just because it was easy for us?
Well, because originally Josh was going to be out in Toronto, so we wanted to keep him up for the rest of the night with the time zone. So this is certainly waking me up already. So yeah, this is one of my favorite cocktails we do at events, actually. So, and I think the citrus plays really well in it. I'm sure you can probably pick it up rich in the cocktail. I think the lemon on it just really adds to it.
Thank you so much. It was good because I also have the gin now on both, and we'll talk about the gin cocktails in a bit. And because I don't want to start drinking those, I'm going to stick with this dram right here. I just want to talk about this a bit because we didn't get to the 5th whiskey that you supplied us. So Vaccinated was the 5th. Did you gentlemen pour that, or did you finish it already?
I'm about to pour it.
Okay, good stuff. Mine's been open for a while, and my wife gets a scent of bubblegum on the nose, and I'm not sure what type of bubblegum. Hubba Bubba? Bubblicious? No.
But it's yummy. I like that.
There's different types of bubblegum we could do. All right. So I'll have you nose that, and if we're doing that, I'm going to ask Steve Lee another question. And I talked about this before, about your forward thinkingness, how you kind of move ahead a little bit, and that's a nice looking bottle. Let's get off my tangent and talk about the bottles, because I do like the classic look of the bottle. And you can find your bottle on anywhere. Like when I see it in the background, it is distinctive, and it's classy. And I would like to ask a couple questions, because last time we had Drew, who is also a Mason, just like you, said that there's symbols on here that he recognized right away. Which symbols would you like to tell us that are on here that would make it so obvious to him and not to me? Because I wasn't seeing what he saw. I'm not a Mason, so I don't.
Well, I'll point out an obvious one. One is what Masons will typically see, but one of the important ones there you will see. I'll see if I can get a close up of that with my mirror image.
The handshake?
That is the all-seeing eye.
Ooh, sorry.
The all-seeing eye, yeah, and the handshake is another one as well.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, there's two. Yeah.
What was there more?
And the handshake as well.
Okay, so that's all he saw, and he came up with that.
That is the two.
Okay. And
yeah, the handshake is very obvious.
Until he said that, I didn't look that closely at the bottle. It just looked classy, and I like the classic colors. But then as soon as he said it, it's like, oh, where are these symbols? And I just stuck on the handshake. That's all I saw. And for some reason, I overlooked the eye, which should have been really obvious. Because I don't know how many movies they talk about this on. Is it dollar bills or something like that in the States? I don't even know.
Yeah, certainly is steeped in conspiracy theories.
Isn't it? Yeah. And, well, actually, and there it is, right there. Right. Oh, we can barely see it. This is a beautiful man sample that I got for you, and we did this on the air before. Oh, Steve Lee, by the way, on Tuesday, Blair and I are doing this gin. Right there. So the Navy Strength gin we're doing on Tuesday. So that's our Tuesday Canadian Whisky Journey with Blair and I. So, sorry, I should have told you.
Just think of it as a cask strength. Well, you're telling me.
I gave Adam some last night. But it's juniper forward, as opposed to the noteworthy, which is more floral, more fruity, more botanical. It's not. Well, everything's botanical. It's just not as junipery. Is that a word? Help me out, guys. Junipery.
It is now.
It is now. Thank you very much.
I mean, it's the orange is citrus floral forward.
And
the Navy Strength is a little bit more juniper and spice.
And we got that last night. And Adam, cardamom, I think was the word he was telling me that came up mostly for him. Usually, do you get cardamom on that gin? I know we're not on that one right there.
On the orange one.
Yeah, it certainly has some cardamom notes to it, and we get both. And even today, actually, the last tasting of the day, somebody asked if we had cardamom pods in it. We do not, but it certainly is a note that comes up. And I think it's really coming from the coriander seed, which gives a really nice citrus floral component to the gin. So that's where you're getting that cardamom note.
Good stuff. And Richard, if you've finished your cold brew, pour yourself some gin. And we were given two things: the San Pellegrino with the gin. So I just did an ounce of the noteworthy gin.
Okay.
Which you supplied. Thank you very much. And the San Pellegrino. So 2 ounces of that. And then I did the same thing in another glass, but with this water. And if you could just tell us about this water just a little bit, please, Steve, which is really cool.
Yeah, this is, well, I think, especially when you take a look at gin, any sparkling water really magnifies anything that you're adding to it, magnifies the flavors. And I wanted a little bit of taste of Alberta to come back with me for the tasting tonight. And Rock Glacier water is from Fortress Mountain in Kananaskis country, right near home, which is Banff for me. So I thought instead of just putting some regular sparkling water, I would have something a little bit close to home. And we're actually going to be using some of this water in a future whiskey, actually. So we're going to be proofing with some glacier water from Rock Glacier in a future whiskey as well.
Where did you work previously then, Stevie? Was it Fortress? I thought it was Sunshine. Or maybe it's both. Oh.
Sunshine, yeah. Sunshine Village.
Okay.
Sunshine Village. I was distilling in my Staffacom. Oh, sorry. I'm on the fire department, so.
Ooh, you might be leaving right away. In which case, we'll just continue drinking gin and badmouth you after you leave. Sorry, nothing like that. No,
we wouldn't do that.
No.
Richard wouldn't let us. Everything good there, Stevie?
No major structure fire, so we're good. Yeah.
Okay, good. And I do want to ask you a question. And I interrupted myself when I saw the bottle. I get in these little tangents. We talked about your forward thinking, how you see yourself in the future, but I'm wondering about. There's a saying in my family, with my wife and with our kids, and it's always do your future self a service. Don't do so many stupid things. Think about your future self. We've done that with our kids, and I think you were thinking about this when you started the distilleries, because you do step by step, and we've talked about your progression. But I would like to find out how your past Stevely helped your present Stevely, and I would like to also know how present Stevely is helping future Stevely. If we could put those together, because I think right now you're thinking about
that's
again, right?
Yeah.
And I'll drink.
Yeah, that's a tough question. That's a tough question. I mean, the one thing I would want to tell my past Stevely is you just keep it making more whiskey. So, sell all your personal belongings, everything you have, like cut down the trees in your property, make some firewood, sell it, like whatever you could do. Sell the rock, sell everything you can, and put that whiskey in a barrel. And then with the hopes that you still continue to sell out. So, yeah, and then eat more craft dinner. Focus on a pasta only diet, and none of this fancy telly stuff anymore. Just really dumb it down and save your pennies for that whiskey. So that's what I would tell my past Stevely.
No, I want to know how your past Stevely. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I want to know what past Stevely did that helped present Stevely. Something that you are so happy that you did in the past that has helped you right now. You're thinking, I was bloody brilliant to have done this. What was that?
Yeah, that's a really tough question to answer. Okay. We invested in good equipment. I think that was really important.
Yeah.
We laid the groundwork for success. I think our equipment is really valuable, and we louder. We spent a little bit of extra money out of the gate to ensure that we were making a quality product going forward. I knew it cost more money. I knew it cost more time, or took more time. And I think investing in that was really, really good for us going forward. And I wanted to buy the land. And I don't know if that's, I think that's a future for us. So I really think that's important. It certainly has some short-term pains, but I had a longer-term vision, and purchasing the land was really, really important to me. I didn't want to lease a space. I wanted to build an operation from the ground up and have a story, and knowing that 20 years down the road, we had the property and we started from the ground up.
Well, and so, being in charge
I
of your own
think that one's yet to be.
Good.
Yeah, being in charge of our own future. Yeah.
Now, present Stevely is, you got to think about future Stevely. What are you doing now to help you in the future, particularly? More whiskey and barrels would be one, but everything else.
Yeah, more whiskey. that one goes without saying. I think that everything we do, like you probably know Stephen Covey, the author, 7 Habits. And I think one of those habits that's really important is beginning with the end in mind. And so everything that we're doing, from the electrical to, making the concrete a little thicker, to pouring the footings for the second half that joined up with the building. So I think what we're doing presently is going to help build our future. So I think we continue to do that. So begin with the end in mind.
I'm good with that. And that's why I thought you were forward thinking, because I've heard that before, and you have. And yeah, it's worked out well for you, I think. After 8 years, there's not a whole bunch of people that are in your position, and there's a lot of distilleries that open and close down before they get to the 3-year mark. They do. So you've done very well. You started with the gin, and you started that, was it Vancouver Island, or so Victoria or Vancouver where you started that?
I'm always well impressed with your research, Dolph. This is, we launched in Victoria. Well done. Man, you consistently amaze me. We started in Victoria.
Thanks,
we seeded the gin out to Vancouver Island, and because I wanted to build a cocktail gin, and so we seeded it out to Victoria and really gained some momentum. A cocktail guru on the island there, Sean Sewell, he wrote about us, and then all of a sudden things started filtering out into the lower mainland. And I really wanted to go. I was like, Vancouver Island is a small market. It's niche. We can put it there, and if people don't like it, we can pull it back and change and not damage the brand in any sort of way. And then it just ballooned from there. I never realized at how savvy people are on Vancouver Island. It's amazing. We got some tremendous support out of the gates, which really benefited us now.
As well as those Salt Spring Island people too. They're fairly close to that Vancouver. They do very well. Very bright. Very smart.
Yes.
Richard and Adam, have you finished your cold brew yet?
Oh yeah.
I know it goes so quickly, which is really dangerous, I think, for the cocktails. It really is. Have we gone on to the gin yet? Because I had the gin and the San Pellegrino, which is lovely, but also very easily to drink. It's easy to make. It's just pour, and see, he's making it right now. Do you put ice in there, Steve Lee, or just cold? Well, cracking it right now.
I generally like my gin cocktails ice cold. Yeah, I'm just I'm doing some.
Oh, that's the water. That's my next one.
Yeah, I generally like my drinks.
Well, I've already made it. My wife said, make it now on the air. Well, I'm sorry. It's done. And I'm going to drink it on the air.
I drank my San Pellegrino already.
That is scary, though, because really, you don't even think about it. One of the reasons I love drinking whiskey, rye particularly, is because of the flavor. And it really does stop the process. You have to think about it a little bit, especially the cast strength stuff. It's like but when you have this is it's pop. It goes down, and you're drinking 2 ounces in like 3 minutes, and then you pour another one. It's really dangerous. And this thing you gave me, and I made double. I made some for my wife, and she gave me some so I could have a prop. And she said, "Don't drink it," but everything's going down. It's lovely. So all that to say, thank you very much. It's fantastic. Gentlemen, what do you think of the gin? Gin.
Noteworthy. It's noteworthy. It's great. I mean, again, I did get that cardamom kind of flavor out of it. It was really interesting what you said about adding it to tonic water and how it brings it out even more. Last night we were just having it regular, but adding it to the tonic water, what a difference! Everything came out even more, and I got more of the citrus from it. So yeah, it was really, really beautiful.
Richard?
I'm not as fond of it with the sparkling water. I like big flavors, and I find that sparkling water just kind of mellows everything. I have a sweet tooth, so the San Pel, we have like 4 different kinds of San Pellegrino upstairs in the beer fridge.
Yep.
So I love this. I remember Steve Lee poured this for me at his distillery there in at Gallagher Lake, and it was so simple to make, and it's so delicious.
Try the blood orange one with it.
Yeah,
I think that'd be really good because I'm not such a sweet person. I like more tart, and the blood orange would be fantastic, I think, which is my favorite San Pellegrino.
Yeah, we have that upstairs, so I could do that.
You could do that. And Richard, I'm kind of with you. I like the flavors. And when I did this with Adam, it's straight. And whenever I do a show on the Tuesday nights, I tell Blair that if I can't drink it straight, I don't want to promote. I can't. Right. I can't taste it. I can't tell people to buy this. And these both were fantastic last night and very distinctive, which I like because the same branding, the same things. But you could have two very different cocktails with these, I'm assuming, but just itself, no ice, just in your hand, straight. A distinctiveness that, but still similar. And I was trying to pick out the similarity and I couldn't last night. So maybe I can tonight, like I tried to do with the scotches. And you know what? After I said that I thought I could pick it out, the vaccinated tastes different to me. It doesn't taste like the other four that I just had. So if my wife gave me any more of the vaccinated or of, and I'm not sure about the social distance, I can't remember if I tasted that caramel on it or not. What do you taste, Steve Lee, when you taste your whiskeys and you know it's done right? What flavor comes to mind, or what thought comes to mind when you know it's perfect for you?
Yeah, so here's an interesting story on vaccinated. We bottled the Cask Futures customer on this one at full cask strength, which was really nice. And in experiments with water, I actually enjoyed it proofed down. And we're doing a different proofing process now to bring it down to bottling strength, which is affecting the flavor just a little bit. We're doing a step proofing. We did some training with Duval Gandhi. Odd Society hosted a blending class.
Okay.
Not this past January, but the January before. And he was the master blender for Macallan for just over 5 years, I believe. And he was there during the transition phase from no age statement or from age statement to no age statement. And he gave us some amazing tips. So we're kind of tweaking things just a little bit. Nice. So vaccinated, I really liked at cask strength, and then proofing it, I enjoyed it as well. But we were doing this élevage, this step proofing process with the whiskey, and after filtration, and I like to keep our tasting notes really basic for the consumer because I don't want it to be too pretentious. I want it to be approachable. I actually wasn't very fond of vaccinated after it was proofed and it was bottled. And I told Joey, I was like, I don't know if I like this. I said, maybe we bottled this too soon. And then I compared it to another older style Scotch whiskey on the shelf. And I had it side by side and I was like, oh, no, this is good. This is right. And I think it's because a lot of our whiskeys that we're typically doing have been very bold and very rich and have big noses. This one was a little bit more soft and a little bit more elegant. And I've said it's a little bit more of an Irish style. And that's a generalization, certainly with savvy guys like you. No. So yeah, it's light and it's fruity. It's tropical. I get some big pear notes and some green apple on the nose. I wrote pineapple as well, and coconut, which typically, I wrote pina colada in there, and typically that's. So yeah, this is a lighter style, and it's a bit of a break from some of the other whiskeys that we've released, actually.
Okay. And I was hoping it wasn't all the other alcohols that I've had or the gin and the stuff, but it is different. It's unique. And apple.
We sampled this whiskey on release day.
Yeah. And?
We sampled these whiskeys like the 5 whiskeys on release day for everybody who was coming to visit, because I think it's really important you try the whiskey before you buy. And this was the most popular, which was really interesting to me. And we had a couple of comments throughout the day that this is a summer whiskey. And I think it just kind of lends itself to that kind of lighter style.
Well, I'm going to agree completely with the lighter style because it's floral. It's so floral. I think that I'm getting, it feels like the Mediterranean. It feels, what's the purple flower that they have in France, south of France? Lavender. I'm getting lavender on this. I don't, it might just be me with all the gin all around me. I'm just surrounded by yumminess. Yes, everywhere. But I'm getting lavender and it's very floral. And
I'm getting a bit of that, just a slight lilac almost. Like
maybe, sure. But it is definitely floral and more floral than any of the 4 previously. And even I go back to the new make. It's very fruity to me. Fruity, not floral. This is way more floral. Yeah. It's, and I don't know if you've been to France. If you go to the south of France, you go to Nice, there's a place called Finocchio, and they have 500 different flavors of ice cream, the others, gelato. And they have all these flower flavors. And this just brings me to that section. When you're standing in front of that section, you get all these flowery notes. And that's what I'm getting from this. So when they say summery, it makes complete sense to me. Thank you. That's great. Good. Sorry, I've been in kind of the. My wife did get some of the blood orange, so I could try with the gin. So I'm going to do that now, on top of all the others. So I'm going to do that, and that's got to be about 2 ounces. Sure. And I need the gin. Gin. And you guys could talk as well. It's not just me drinking.
Well, I love that navy. So last night, and I know we're not tasting it tonight, but that navy gin, bottling it cask strength, just what a difference. Because I mean, we enjoyed cask strength, and man, it was so unique, so different. But then you had that traditional botanical mix, right, with the juniper forward, kind of the Bombay sapphire-ish kind of flavor. It was beautiful. Loved it. And I really liked it with having it with Pellegrino. I mean, I'm a gin soda kind of guy, so the sweet I try to stay away from with the Pellegrino stuff. So I like it with the gin soda, but it's great.
Well, Steve Lee, you're kind of a thin guy, and Richard looks like he's in good shape. Actually,
good shape. Yeah, things are good.
There you go.
I try not to have this. I try to go to the water. So it's a gin, soda, and water. It's perfect. Or just the gin.
It's actually, that's the way my wife likes it. She likes just the gin and a nice Riedel glass, whether it's the Navy strength or the regular.
Yeah, Richard.
The strangest thing is,
you gotta try that.
I will.
Go ahead, Steve Lee. Sorry.
the strangest thing is, I mean, the consumer helps guide us, I think, in what they like or what they don't like. It's really interesting. Like, people will come into the distillery and say, I do not like gin. And then we convince them, because I think the nose is really important in everything that we're tasting, whether it's the whiskey or the gin or, the secret liqueur that we have here as well. The nose is super important. So we have people that come in, don't like gin, and leave with a bottle of Navy Strength. Nice. I mean, that's gin on steroids, and it's just so confusing for me. It's the strangest thing, and the consumer guides us in what they like and what they don't like. So it's really shocking, and we're hesitant to pour that for the consumer. We serve Navy Strength just by itself for the guests, because if we made it into a cocktail, it would just taste the same as our New Western Dry. And we serve that neat. We coach them through a little bit, certainly if they haven't had high proof spirits before, and they leave with a bottle of Navy Strength. And it's just the strangest thing for us.
I'm going to give you a thought, and maybe it's this, because many of us started drinking at a younger age, and we stole things from parents, grandparents, something, and it might have been an older style type of drink, like gin. And for me, that was the type of drink that I would never go back to as an adult because of the memories that engendered as a 15-year-old child. So I'm wondering if there's a whole bunch of people out there that may be in the same situation, didn't want to relive their childhood misadventures. And I think gin might be one of them, and whiskey definitely is. And you talk to people about whiskey, I'll never have whiskey again because of this, because whiskey and Coke went out my childhood type thing. And I think when, as an adult, you try things with an open mind, you tend to see the layers of flavors a little bit that come. And for gin, for me, it was that with yours, with the Noteworthy. And we talked about this last year. I was a Scotch drinker and a whiskey drinker, and I didn't think I was ever going to taste a gin again. And I was told to try that. And it was Davin told me, you have to try this gin. We're going to be there. It's the third place we're going to, and you have to try this gin. And you sent it to me, and I did. And it was enticing because it wasn't like the memory. It wasn't all gin. So, Rich and Adam, what do you guys think? Why do people come back to gin or other drinks later on in life? When they say they don't love it, they try it at Steve Lee's, at the Glisses. What?
I don't know. I think people, they grow up, their palates change, their mindsets change, and reliving peach schnapps is something that's on my bucket list.
Yeah, don't do that.
I think I had a different journey than everybody else. I think with whiskey, my father, we always joked around that he was a Quaker because my father never drank any alcohol, and kind of following in his footsteps, I didn't drink alcohol at all. And it wasn't until I was about 19 that I actually had like my first drink. And then it was, and my whole journey with alcohol really has been about chasing different flavors and just enjoying, I think, which is exactly what everybody here does now, right? Where it's like, but that's how my journey started. So there's nothing I was ever put off by. But my memory of gin was a friend of mine has this beautiful place in Calgary, penthouse suite at the top. And every time you go to his house, it's always like, welcome, and the bar is open, right? And so I didn't even know what to get because I'm like, I don't really drink. And so I don't know, make me something. I don't even know. And so he's like, okay, I'll make you a gin martini. And so this guy has dedicated his life to good liquor. He actually owns a fruit winery in Alberta as well and stuff. So he knows his booze. And it was an outstanding drink. And it was just like the juniper. And it was just something I had never had before. So for me, gin has always been just like up here. And I just love it. Like, it's just delicious. And then having the Noteworthy, it was interesting. The first time I had it, and it was last year, I guess last summer, I was like, okay, this is very different. And the artisanal gins don't have the traditional botanicals that you get in your big groups. And so expanding my palate over the last while with different gins and having a number of friends who also visit the island. And there's so many in BC, right? And they bring them back and you try them and stuff. And even in Saskatchewan, there's a couple and stuff. It's been really neat to see how unique that the botanicals are and that different flavor. And then you get into your bath gins, which are even colored and different ways of doing it. So yeah, it's been a different journey, but for me, I know I've gone around about on that, but it's been a different one. But for me, the gin, it's just so unique, so different, and it has a really actually like special place in my heart because I like it so much. So.
Excellent.
But you're the first one to actually have a gin cast strength. So marrying, I never thought I would ever cast strength gin, and it was like, ooh, this is really nice. So that was a really cool experience to have. So thank you for providing that, Steve Lee.
Yeah, no, the funny thing is we distill off the still, and I don't know if Rich has ever been here when we've been distilling gin, but I'll tell you the gin is amazing off the still at full strength, and we would share little samples of it in the tasting room if you happen to be there at that time, and people loved it, and I was like, we have to do something with this. Like, I enjoy this off the still. The consumer, may enjoy this off the still. And so doing some research, you realize that Navy strength is actually a category, and something we could do.
And so is it 57 or 58% off the
for
still?
A science experiment?
We've got time for everything.
It is higher. It's usually, so we distill our second distillation. We're in the 95% range for our base spirit for the gin after second distillation. So we strip it really well. It's a pretty clean spirit. Like the virgin spirit carries a little bit of the flavor forward. In the gin, we strip most of it out. So this is one thing that happened. So I'm going to give you a demo on this. So I'm going to put some Navy strength gin in there. Excuse me for one moment. I'm just going to grab some water. And,
I thought you were going to grab some gunpowder. No. That's all right. Get some water.
We're going to leave that one up to Blair because he's got to test that theory. He still has his eyebrows and he hasn't tested the theory yet. So if you look at the gin, it's nice and clear. And what we're going to do is we're going to add some water, and I'll see if I can do that in front of the camera.
And it's going to get all cloudy.
See it. Yeah, it goes cloudy. And I'm just going to swirl it around here. So you can see that cloudiness. And actually, right now I can smell, because we're getting an exothermic reaction. So we're getting a chemical reaction, and being teachers, exothermic, it's creating heat here. And when we warm things up, like Rich was doing earlier with his whiskey, we increase those aroma compounds. So right now I can smell the gin. But this cloudiness, if we tried to bottle this in this bottle, you would buy it. You've come to expect that gin is meant to be clear and clean and pristine and pure. So being a whiskey guy, I don't like filtration either. This is oils that's in here. So alcohol being a solvent, the higher the alcohol content, the more we can dissolve the essential oils, which is flavor. So, but we couldn't bottle a cloudy product. So we do not a true chill filtration, but just a slight chill filtration. We bring the temperature of this down to 12 degrees Celsius, runs through a micron filter, which captures some of this cloudiness, which is actually taking out flavor so that we can put it in this bottle. Okay. So what you're getting with that is a less flavorful product. And we don't want that. Gin, you want the flavor, even though we're really bold and rich, it's a less flavorful product. So when you get the Navy strength gin, these oils just say, hey, look at me, I got a lot of flavor. It doesn't tell you if it's good or bad flavor, it just says, look at me, I got a lot of flavor.
It's a lot.
So when you get a Navy strength, you're getting a lot of flavor. So, and we always say, treat this as a concentrate. Anything that's got a lot of flavor. This is going to be my gin and tonic before bedtime, I guess.
Bedtime.
Yeah. So sorry, that was a bit of a science experiment. So if you want a really cool lushing experiment, this is your lushing experiment right here. And if you chill this gin, if you chill the New Western Dry, put it in the fridge or the freezer, this will cloud up just slightly. So you'll get a bit of a louche with this. Not as dramatic as the Navy strength, because again, this has just had a slight chill filtration on it.
Steve Lee, could you do me a favor? Can you put the water or your glass with the water next to the noteworthy, just so people can see the difference side by side? So the cloudiness with the clear.
Oh yeah.
And now you can see the difference, because people look at the water and they think that's water. It's not cloudy. When you see it side by side like that, you can tell the difference. I love that. Thanks, Stephen. And sorry, I just brought this old Things of Lamb's Navy 151 proof rum, just because you call yours Navy. And is it flammable with we talked about it just a second ago with the gunpowder. Would this be high enough to work with the gunpowder?
That's the theory, and there's only really one way to test that theory, and we're going to leave that up to Blair Phillips.
All right. Well, we're going to do it. Well, I'll talk to him about it on Tuesday.
But,
I'm not going to do it.
You may
Blair
see a future YouTube video with us.
Yeah.
Blair's got 2 kids at home because they've closed down the schools in Ontario forever. He's willing to do anything to get out of the house right now. So it's good. It's perfect.
Steve Lee, have you are you doing any oak aging of your gin? Barrel aging?
Yes. We've released 2 what we call barrel rested gins. One was in the barrel for, it actually started out as an experiment. One, I didn't like gin, and I got peer pressured to put some gin in the barrel because we had a lot of gin in the winter time. People just don't drink gin a lot in the winter, and so I put it in the barrel and peer pressured by a friend, and then we tested it just before the summer, and I was like, this is awful. This tastes like gin and oak chips. It is a disaster. And I blamed my friend. I said, see, I told you this was a mistake to do this. But I couldn't redistill it. We couldn't take it out of the barrel. We're just too busy in the summer. So I waited till the fall, and now it's had a significant time in the barrel. And I tasted it then. I was like, oh, God, now I have to call my friend back and tell him he was right. Because all it needed was some time in the barrel to add complexity and depth. I was trying to rush something. So we left it in the barrel on the first one. We left it for, I believe it was 22 months. So almost 2 years in the barrel. And this thing was beautiful and complex and was amazing. So, about a year into that first barrel, we filled another barrel. And we left that one for 2 years and 2 months. And we put it in 2 separate barrels, ex-bourbon barrels, and amazing complexity. I mean, 2 years. I mean, it's like gin and whiskey got together and had a small child and took the best of both worlds. So
nice.
I wish we did more of it. We have one barrel aging away right now.
What flavor did it mellow out? Because it's not just more wood. I'm sure it mellowed something out. So can you pick the flavor that it subdued? So
our gin, and you can see that is, I'm trying to see if we had some of the barrel aged stuff around here. I think we do. Yeah, well, barrel rested. There's none in this bottle. But barrel rested is, it's kind of it basically, because the gin is so rich and bold, all it took was all those rich, bold notes and just softened everything together. So there was just nothing jumping out at you. It brought everything together and just softened everything out.
And is that available or will be at one point? Because that one is done, but something in the back burner coming later?
Yeah, our focus lately has been putting whiskey in the barrel. So that is certainly a back burner. You may actually find some of that product available in Alberta. And I hate to plug Andrew at Kensington Wine Market all the time because he has some on his shelf, batch number 2. So if you could get some of that in your hands, it's the precious.
Nice.
And if you don't like it, if, for example, if any of your viewers, if you guys buy it in Alberta and you don't like it for whatever reason, I'll buy it back from you. So that's a guarantee.
That's my guarantee. My signature on the bottle. I'll buy it back. That's perfect. Thank you. All right. We're going to go back to your influences. So let's go back to Little Steve Lee 6 years ago. Actually, last year you mentioned that meeting John Hall of 40 Creek, or he used to be 40 Creek, at the Victoria Whiskey Festival, and how his words motivated you. Did you mention going to Still Waters? Was that something?
I did, yeah, early on.
Now, you've been around.
I was really interested in distilling.
And which is kind of impressive to go from BC to Ontario to go to different. And it's nice that they were kind of open to you. And same thing, Last Straw, who we're going to see next week, they also went to Still Waters, and the two berries were more than helpful for him. They really wanted to help. And I'm wondering if you had any individuals or whiskey group or whiskey person or anyone in or out of the business that helped you develop more than anyone. Sorry, I don't want to say that more than anyone else, but someone that you can just grab onto and say, this person helped me so much.
I don't think there's any one person. I think it's like a puzzle, and you just take pieces from everybody and you just start putting the pieces of the puzzle together. So I don't think anybody's dominant in one area, but John Hall was very influential, and I certainly have a few stories of John, which may seem insignificant to him, but they were like impactful words.
And sometimes it's like that, right? It's just like one moment in time, and you remember it so vividly. You remember everything about it because it's life-changing. And it was just a nice comment from some person one day to you. It's kind of cool. Let's think about Stillwater. So I'm guessing they helped you out in some respects. Who are you helping out now? So who are you passing it forward to?
Yeah, I think, and that's a really good question. It's funny, when I visited Barry, they were so gracious. I don't even know if I was really wanted to start a distillery at that time, or maybe it was just a seed, but they were so gracious with their time and sharing what they were doing, which is amazing. So distilleries call up, and we've certainly had referrals. Just last week, we had somebody who was having problems with filtration. So I've never met the guy. And I talked him through some tips and tricks and problems that we had. So, I think it's really important. And Maple Leaf Spirits up the road, Yorick Engel, who makes schnapps and eau de vie, was amazingly helpful when we first started out the distillery here. So when those people are so helpful in the start of our journey, and I could start listing distilleries like Shelter Point Distillery and sharing their barrels and how gracious those guys are, and how good they are for the industry. When those people are so good to me, it makes me want to share with others as well. So it's really nice to see. Yeah.
And a great community to be part of. And they talk about that in brewing, they talk about that a lot, but it's there in distilling as well. And the more people I talk to, the more intertwined everyone seems to be. So you with Odd Society, and the fact that you went to Ontario and they helped you. Did you ever think of going to the big guys?
Yeah,
or was it always the micro distilleries you were thinking about? Like, did you think about going to Wiser's? Did you think about going to Crown Royal and say, give me some information, what could you teach me type thing? Or was it always the little guy?
I think it's always been the little guy, with the exception of what Dr. Don Livermore is doing as well. It was at Victoria Whiskey Festival.
Uh-oh.
Sorry, Steve Lee. I think you froze for a quick second.
I think I'm getting a bit of a lag there.
Just a little bit, Steve. That's all right. It's okay. You know what? It's almost at the hour time. Sorry, Steve Lee, we missed that whole section, but I'm going to ask you the same question, the After Dram. And any last comments, Richard?
Sure.
We didn't talk so much this time. You were
enjoying... it's great. I've just been listening. It's been fantastic.
Sorry.
I'm happy. This is great.
Excellent.
Thank you. Thanks, Steve Lee, for all you've done over the last few years for me and the club, and all the bottlings and stuff, the casks. It's been great. Love the adventure. Love the journey.
Good comments. Adam, how about you? Last comments?
I was thinking about a couple of quotes from a couple of people, and one of the things that came to mind was there's two ways to get rich. There's one way where you get rich really, really quick, and then you become poor, and then you learn all of the lessons, and then you can get rich again, kind of thing, and then you can go poor, rich, poor, rich. And that is not your style whatsoever. And I think it's like you want to get rich slow. And this whiskey, it starts, and this is what I mean, is it starts with this incredible base. And it's like your new make whiskey, that just blew me away today. Like I've never had a new make that tastes like this. And you perfect these small things. And even in your experimentation, you're so slow to do it, and you're just like the Warren Buffett of whiskey.
There you go.
So I hope you are continuing to make whiskey well into your 80s, because I mean Warren Buffett, that's where he's just gone off the charts there. So I'm really excited for these like 30-year-old whiskeys and 40-year-old whiskeys to be coming out of Douglas. So awesome job, and I look forward to the future.
As long as you don't sell the distillery for $20 million in the next couple of years, we'll be doing that. Steve Lee, last comments.
Yeah. Well, thanks for having me on, and I appreciate the kind words. I think the one thing that we've been successful is word of mouth and focusing on making spirits without profit. It's funny how you talk about the poor thing. We're certainly poor. I don't know if we'll ever be rich. We want to be great, not big. And we've been supported so much by the community. The community and the whiskey community and our local community, if it wasn't for that, we wouldn't be where we are today. So, and that includes this podcast and books like The Definitive Guide by Davin and Blair. All those people that are contributing, not to just us, but the craft distilling community as a whole. So for a minute there, I thought you had 3 hands, Dolph.
Oh.
That's my lovely wife. Just, here, put this on. I just do what I'm told, even on Father's Day. It's good. Well, sorry. That's it. It's an hour and 2 minutes. That's all the time we have tonight, ladies and gentlemen. It's been a fantastic evening. Thank you to the listeners. Thank you to the panel. You guys were fantastic. Adam and Rich, absolute pleasure. And Rich, you didn't say very much this half with the
not this half,
but you looked really happy as
I'm good.
Gin on the bottom. So fantastic. Special thanks to Steve Lee from Douglas Distillery, heart of southern British Columbia. I learned so much, had a fantastic time in the process, and I had entirely too much fun, really, and to drink. Join us next Saturday, June 26th, 5 o'clock p.m. Mountain Daylight Time, which is 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, as we visit Last Straw Distillery in Vaughan, Ontario. And that's part of the Greater Toronto area. I think that's GTA. That's it. I'm looking forward to seeing them again. We had a great time last year. And as a final note, you don't want to miss a minute of all this. Click, like, subscribe, all that stuff. And gentlemen, glasses up. Glasses up. Here's to good company. Here's to good whiskey and cocktails. Here's to good conversation. Here's to good gin. And here's to seeing you all next week. Sláinte. Cheers, guys.